Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you here. SEC lawyers dropping from the Ripple case. What's behind it? We're going to get into it. And Ripple Labs says they have a global switch. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.09 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 0.4% in the last 24. 25,900 plus for Bitcoin right now, 1,600 plus for Ethereum. Tether market cap is 82.7 billion plus. Number 5 spots XRP at 51 cents. We're up 0.3% in the 24 and 1.9 up on the 7-day. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't checked out the best crypto IRA on the planet, it's iTrust Capital. What are you waiting for? The only thing better than buying crypto is buying tax-free crypto. And you could do that by clicking the link to my sponsor, iTrust Capital, underneath of this video. Do not wait. Check it out. You're going to love it. How about this rumor heating up here? Yeah, breaking XRP Robin Hood rumor. Ripple continues to fight the SEC while many other exchanges have already relisted XRP. Many more are on the way to list for the first time. XRP is currently sitting at number 5 spot, as we know, at $27.41 billion. That's where we're at. You know what? Let's take a look at that number right again right quick. Let's just see what's going on here. 27.3 billion plus right there. We're loving that. I am. I can tell you that. We'll keep an eye on it. But we see there's motion in the case. We saw that there were some updates. They were very minimal. This may be too, but let's dive into this just for a second so you get the full 411 on what's going on here with the Ripple case. 2 more U.S. SEC attorneys withdraw from the lawsuit. Let's hear what John Deaton says about it. He says here, John Deaton, the founder of crypto-centric legal news outlet Crypto Law, wrote that the change means nothing, he said. He further explained that Guerrera could have been reassigned, who was one of the attorneys that's leaving, could be reassigned or could be leaving the SEC altogether. Deaton indicated a shift in attention to the Ripple case after Jorge Tenreiro received a promotion and attorney Bliss left the SEC for BlockFi. Even though Tenreiro was still overseeing the case, he assigned Guerrera to argue the Hinman speech documents oral argument. For those of you who don't remember, that was a horrible mess. Deaton suggested Tenreiro might have anticipated criticism from Judge Netburn and avoided taking responsibility by letting Guerrera handle it. Deaton, present during the court proceedings, mentioned that Guerrera seemed unprepared and even making false statements regarding the SEC stance on Hinman documents. It was a mess. I do remember it clearly. Following this, Judge Netburn expressed her disapproval of the SEC's conduct, hinting that the criticism was directed at both Guerrera and Tenreiro, and Deaton believes that a responsible leader would have faced the situation directly, calling out Jorge Tenreiro for dodging the bullet, right? That's really what it comes down to. I think Tenreiro had the foresight to know that it was going to be a bad argument altogether. Right here we see this. Let's move on to this. First of all, shout out to Anthony Welfare for this news here. Impressive work from Pieris, Ripple Dev, and the rest of the XRP community to see the MetaMask wallet connecting to EVM sidechains on the XRP Ledger is very exciting. XRP Ledger helping to bring interoperability through EVM sidechains, taking us from siloed islands to a global blockchain experience. Write it down. This is just like the early days of the internet when they had the intranets, the interworking systems, but none of them were connected. Remember, if you were on Netscape, you couldn't talk to somebody if they were on AOL. That's the way it was in the early days. And unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember. So there you have that. But here we see strides being made here and connecting the dots. Okay, this is former Ripple executive Dilip Rao was talking about the Australian CBDC pilot and he's obviously formerly from Ripple. And, I'm sure it's nothing, right? If I just take you in here inside of this thread very quickly, you can see Ripple down here, Ripple Labs listed here. And if we go down beyond, this is based off of the comment just a couple days ago. Landmark report, use cases for Australian CBDC, proud to have contributed to it, contribute to the great team. Is it any mistake when I look at these things and I see Dilip Rao, the first thing I think of is like a transition team, right? Now, whether Dilip went there on his own, right, or whether he went there through the help of Ripple, however it goes, it's his expertise from his time at Ripple that affords him the opportunity to be the perfect candidate to help oversee the Australian CBDC pilot. These are the kind of connections, just like I spoke about the other day, about Greg Kidd being associated with Uphold when we were having a private call inside of our DPMG group. And I encourage you to check that out. But here we see, I want to highlight this clip again and show you the sizable market of just a small, medium enterprise. If you heard this the other day, stay with me here. We're going somewhere.
So SMEs are crucial for the world economy. They ensure a ton of competition and drive innovation. Most of the companies in the world are actually SMEs. They're also a massive part of cross-border payments. So they constitute over $17 trillion of cross-border payments every year. And they're growing much faster than other segments. And a lot of that is spurred by the digital economy and their ability to tap into different markets for new customers. At the same time, they remain very underserved. So while they're big in totality and the aggregate volume is really big, by definition, each one of them is quite small. So when the incumbents are thinking of serving them, the perceived value that they get from these companies is less than what it costs them to serve them.
And there you have it right there. So what we're looking at here is just one particular portion of a market. Small to medium enterprises, and most people don't realize, and I didn't realize to the sizable number of $17 trillion, the size of that market. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because I want to talk about Do It Now. This is Chad Steingraber sharing this here, who's been absolutely on fire in the space. Powered by Tranglo, RippleNet, and XRP, who wants to count the Ripple partners? Take a look at this. Take a look at this. I'm an investor. I'm a speculator in this space. It's what I do, right? It is what has paid me dividends over and over and over again in my life to speculate about the possible outcomes of things that I'm invested in or pursuing. And looking at this here, I am very excited. And this is just a list based on Do It Now, right? This is not like the total list. This is just the list based on Do It Now. So with all that being said, I want to take you to this now. Ripple as a global switch. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because I want to get to the point that I want to make here. And the point I want to make here is, first, let's take a look at this. Think of FedNow, Do It Now. Think of FedNow, but based out of Malaysia, reaching cross-border across Asia, plus Tranglo, which we know is a Ripple partner and user, is their service provider and runs on RippleNet, and they use XRP for transfers. Here is it now connecting into Kuwait. #oil. We do have to speculate about going beyond just remittances, cross-border payments, and the like into this idea and conversation that oil may become a big, big settlement item because BRICS has just announced 6 new partners, the UAE and Saudi Arabia being 2 of them. Now, we know, and Iran, huge oil producer as well, and understanding that this could be a connection going forward, and it could bring an enormous amount of activity and liquidity through these partners and ultimately the ledger. Here's another piece of information I want to touch on. Day 36 since FedNow launched, Chad Steingraber says here, we now have a clear picture through MFS Africa, the largest payment processor across the continent, how ODL will be used. combined together with the Pan-Africa Payment Settlement System facilitating MFS. This will reach into the Middle East. This is the, sorry about that, there's an alarm going off there. This is the conversation we need to be looking towards here. Again, I was not expecting a BRICS currency to be announced. Two things that came out of this summit that just ended in South Africa for BRICS. It's two things. One, the 5 or 6 partners that were announced. We know Saudi Arabia is a huge one. We already know that. But the other part is that they didn't announce, they announced they will be doing a BRICS currency, which we knew. But what they did announce is that they will be going to their own currencies, their sovereign currencies from each of the BRICS partners in that coalition, and using their dollars more and more and more over the US dollar. This will contribute to the de-dollarization as they continue to take strides and work towards the implementation of a BRICS currency, which they have said will be commodity backed. And here's Ripple telling you right here, as the way these payment stacks line up, that Ripple is a global switch for cross-border transfers. So whether we're talking about the $1.2 quadrillion settlement of derivatives, which happens around the world all the time, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but the UK is a huge hub for settlement of derivatives and cross-border payments. And here we see this payment stack sitting here showing us, think of that for a moment. ISDA, $1.2 quadrillion, Ripple just joins them. Think about $17 trillion space for small, medium enterprises. All of these areas are set to explode with tokenization and digitalization. Ripple has been doing the work to build the market infrastructure to serve these markets. What is missing is the liquidity and utility to be brought to the network. And as you see in each of these different areas, the announcement of more and more institutions and partners using this service, whether it's Ripple's suite of products or the complement of using ODO and the settlement of XRP. This is the path I want to see as we move forward. Look, I couldn't be more excited where we're going, and I really do believe that Ripple has done the work to create a global switch around the world. When it turns on, I don't know, and I never have. I just believe that it will, and I'm going to be here for it when it does. It's not financial advice from me or anyone else. Somebody flip that global switch. I'll catch all of you on the next one.